Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with TrueGoldToken and their founder, Jeff Runnels. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Very happy to have you, and this is part two, tried to our very beginning. I guess I must have I forgot to click record, but here we are, running
That's
it
all
back
right.
better than ever. So TrueGoldToken rewards its holders with a monthly payout from a real working gold mine in Southern California, NFTs that pay monthly. I'd love to start out with, before we dive into the real works behind True Gold Token, who is Jeff Runnels?
So, who am I? I'm a father of seven. Let's just get that out of the way. I do have a gaggle of kids. I'm a retired veteran, disabled veteran, and the local gold miner in my county. I'm out here all the time, every day mining. A lot of people know me as the Wildemar prospector or HB prospector from when I lived in Huntington. You can give me a Google under HB prospector, it'll pop up. I'm all over the place, all over the internet and the gold mining industry. Made the front page of the LA Times and the Orange County Register a few years back with my kids and stuff because I get them involved and they mine with me.
Nice.
And so that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell.
Yes, definitely. That's quite exciting, and it seems as if you're a family man at heart, but you're also a very hardworking man. How did the idea for True Gold Token come about? What inspired you to create a gold-backed cryptocurrency? And before we
So,
answer this, you're based on Binance, right? BNB?
correct. Yeah, we're on the Binance chain. Yeah, we're on BSC. You can buy us on Pancake Swap with BNB. The contract is on our website. It's also in our Telegram. You can go to Telegram and hit backslash or forward slash CA. That'll pull the contract up. Forward slash NFT will pull up the contract, all that stuff. And then you can purchase everything either through Pancake Swap or through our minting DApp for the NFTs. And then we also have a staking DApp for the NFTs.
Nice.
What got me to start True Gold Token? Been in DeFi for about 5 years. I've had the hell rugged out of me on several
As we all
occasions.
do.
Yeah, some of them were not so bad, and then I hit that lucky golden winner where I lost 35 grand in 4 hours. I literally bought in, got everything pulled together, got it put in their vault, went to sleep, woke up 4 hours later, completely gone. Everything was gone, and I almost walked away from it, and I was just done. Found one more project that has had and still continues to have a huge potential in what they're doing. I'm not part of that project anymore. I'm not an invest. I'm a very small investor now. I used to be one of their top holders. When I started seeing the way things were going in DeFi space and everybody started talking about distribution of wealth and yada yada yada, I never saw any follow through with that. And I talked to several friends of mine in the DeFi space, and I gave them my grand idea of how we can actually accomplish a real use case of distribution of wealth. And I pitched the idea of True Gold Token. Two of the guys came on board as my primary core team. And then after having 8-9 hour conversations with our project manager, Crypto Kez, for about 4 days, 5 days, every day, he came on board as our project manager. And it was born. And we pushed like hell just to try to get through all the FUD and answer all the questions that people had and ease everybody's minds about how real this really is. And so I go live on TikTok, I go live on YouTube, Facebook, excuse me, Instagram, Telegram, and you can actually watch me mining as I'm mining.
Nice.
Not so much underground because I do lose service, but when I'm out at the actual mine site, I do go live, which coincidentally that'll be going on starting tomorrow again. So I'll be doing live streaming again tomorrow. We wanted something 100% non-reliant on the market. And so the way we developed True Gold Token was 100% based off the net and gross profits of the mine itself. And so the NFTs, the staking gets taken off the net profits of the gold mine as an expenditure, just like I would labor and fuel. And
Yeah.
then the gross profits, I share 45-55. So 45% goes to the holders, and then 55% comes to me and pays what I need done,
Yeah.
house and kids and all that stuff. Most questions asked is why wouldn't I keep it all? I have, and I have kept it all for a long time. But the more I got involved with communities in DeFi, the more I started hearing that word distribution of wealth. And I never saw follow through with it. Technically, we're a type of a reflection token because the money you get on the airdrops is based off the amount of tokens that you own. So if you have a 1% bag, you'll get obviously the most. If you have one token, you'll probably get a buck. But everybody gets something. So, yeah, that's the long and short of why
Most
I
definitely.
developed and started TrueGoldToken was to give people a peace of mind and give them something real and tangible.
Nice. That's exciting to hear. And I'd love to know now, how long have you been operating this mine out of Southern California?
Off and on for 9 years.
9 years. Nice.
Yeah, I did take a 4 year sabbatical. About 5 years ago, we stopped mining this mine because my two partners that I had at the time, both their parents got ill. And so one moved one in from Utah to his house. He had to take care of her, and the other one moved up to Northern California. And then I got talked into going to work a mine up in Northern California with one of the partners, and I lost 130 grand in 4 months.
Wow.
And so I came back down south, started plumbing again, and then had to get back on my feet because that was a
Yeah.
big loss. That was a huge
Yeah.
loss. But it wasn't bad. I had goals set. When I came back down, I was renting a house. Within a year of plumbing, I bought a house and then started acquiring bits and pieces and started mining again. And so I was mining off and on and then started mining full time again last year.
Nice. And how big is your operations currently speaking? How many acres do you currently oversee that you mine out of and whatnot?
Currently, we're working a 20-acre section. We're 325 feet underground. That's down the vertical shaft. And then through the haulage tunnel is another 285 feet. So we're right about in the middle of the mountain. We do work underground, and probably 6 months from now, we'll have the next 20 acres on this hillside opened up. We just got to, there's some cleanup that needs to be done, cleanup and shoring. And so we should have that up within the next 6 months to a year. And then we'll have two mine sites operating on one hillside, all being milled 200 yards from the mine on private
That's
property.
incredible. How do you
Yeah.
maintain your gold reserves and ensure the security of the tokens themselves?
So the gold reserves is an interesting one. Most people think that all the gold is disappearing or that we've mined it out because the old timers back in the 1880s and 1890s and 1900s got all the gold. If you look at the world's known gold deposits, and this is just the known ones, there's a lot that we don't know about. Only 10% of the known gold has been extracted from the earth. 10%, that's it, period. Based off the history of this hillside, because I have the historical records on it, and then I also have some core drilling records that I have. The reserves on this one hillside are enough to keep us busy for the next 30 years. That's this 20 acres. The other 20 acres connected to this 20 is probably another 30 years on top of that. I do have 6 mines in total. Right now, our primary focus is right here because it is close to home and there's a lot of work to be done.
Most definitely. Do you know if there's any other competitors out there, not necessarily competing with yourselves, but doing the same thing or similar to backing tokens or NFTs with gold that they personally mine?
No, there isn't. There isn't
There
one out
isn't.
there. Not one. When we launched last year, not this past October, but the October before, 2022, there was 7 gold projects that came out about, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks after we launched that were saying that they were backed by gold 100%. I don't think any of them are around. They all rugged within
Yeah, makes
six
sense.
months. And a lot of that had to do with because it was a traditional it was a traditional project where it was all volume and tax based. And unfortunately, the volume that was created through buys and sells, they did purchase gold from an actual mint. They showed the bars that
Yeah.
look what we bought for the project, and then disappeared. It happens.
Yeah.
There was one project that saying that they had a mine in Montana that they were going to do basically what we're doing. They didn't last. They lasted literally a month.
Wow.
So we've been around
Nobody's
for over
out
a
there
year and a
like you.
half.
One of a kind and still kicking it, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of greed factors involved when it comes to money. I look pretty simple. I do have a nice house, don't get me wrong, but I
And a
also
nice
have a
beard.
lot of, yeah, thanks. And I got a lot of kids that I have to pay for and stuff. But all in all, we grow a lot of our own food. We raise animals. We don't eat out a lot, stuff like that. We try to keep everything pretty much self-sustaining. In fact, next year, I'm actually going to sell this house and we're buying property closer to the mine site and
Nice.
basically homesteading. And so we'll be almost off the grid
That's
on
incredible.
just living life in the way we're supposed to live. The reason why a lot of those projects failed that I saw was one, they were tax based. And let's be real, we've all seen reflection tokens that are tax based, and most of them don't last. There's a few kind of hanging in there from the last few years, but there's no volume at all.
Yeah.
I don't foresee them making it very much longer. And then the other one that was supposedly in Montana, they never had the rights to the mine to begin with. And so they just disappeared.
I can see one thing that definitely sets you apart from a lot of other projects, and that's obviously you yourself actually going out there with your team and mining the gold from your mines local to yourself, and also being allowed and openly willing to host community members, team members, and whatnot at your place in Southern California, and actually allowing them to go mine for themselves as well. It really brings things full circle at the end of the day, and it allows the investors to feel more insured about their investment and to get a better understanding of who the founder is behind the whole entire
Yeah.
package.
So by doing all that, it does one of two things. One, I get to meet my investors, right?
Yeah.
Two, it brings a validity to it, a certainty. It's not me with CGI and green screens with a production team behind me
Yep.
going, "Oh yeah, I'm gold mining," when I'm just sitting in my room doing nothing. You know what I mean? I go live all the time. It's just the videos, the pictures. There's pictures of my kids out there mining. Anybody could do a quick Google search of Jeff Runnels HB Prospector, and they'll find everything there is to know about me. I have nothing to hide from anybody. I do what I say I'm doing, and anybody that's been with us or new to us or has been out to the site can attest to it. We just had a member, one of our members, Craig. He got hired with Tesla, and they sent him to Tempe, Arizona, to do some training. And this past weekend, he caught a flight and flew out here. I put him up for Friday night, Saturday night. He worked in the mine all day with me Saturday,
That's
and it just adds that solid validity to the project that we're doing what we said we're doing.
oh,
There's no bullshitting it. We got some huge announcements coming up next month. I can't go into great detail on any of that, but I can tell you that once everything goes public and they see what's coming and what we're doing, it's going to be a fun ride, you
look
know.
forward to hearing
Uh,
that announcement. I've been keeping up to date with what you're doing with your project a lot more recently, ever since I reached out to you. And it's nice to see all these different photos that you post at the mining facilities and whatnot, or in the caves, actually mining, doing the job, and doing the work for the holders at the end of the day. But one of the posts that you posted recently really made me laugh a little bit. But it was you and one of your partners, and maybe not a partner, but coworkers that works with you. He doesn't speak English, you don't speak
no, he
Spanish, but you
doesn't.
work perfectly together. And it's the little things. At the end of the day, you
Yeah,
don't necessarily need to be able to speak the same language, but if you just understand each other on, one may put it, as a spiritual level, where you're there to do the job, get the job done, and that's it. You go home, enjoy your life with your family and wife, and call it a day, and you come back
yeah,
and do
that's
it
it.
all over. I think that's
Yeah,
just so perfect.
it's it's quite magical
It
sometimes.
really is.
I've been all over this planet,
Yeah.
been to a lot of countries where I didn't necessarily speak the native languages of any of those countries, but yet you can communicate just based off body language or
Yeah.
tone, and people pick up on that really quick, and you can get stuff done. And so I've learned how to say stuff without having to say it, just based off my past experiences. And so it works out nice.
Physical motions and whatnot to help
Yeah,
describe things better. Yeah.
there's a lot of monkey see, monkey do
Yeah, most
as
definitely.
well. That's what's the best way to teach somebody how to do it. You have
Yeah.
them watch you, and they see what you're doing, and they go, "Oh shit, okay, that's easy," and then they do it. Now, not everybody's like that. Some people aren't mechanically minded or physically minded. They're more on the mental side. And so obviously, I can't bring in a computer engineer and expect him to understand what it is I'm doing when I'm drilling holes and jackhammering and digging shit out, because his mind's not there. He's more
Yeah.
analytical.
Very true.
And so vice versa. You put me in front of a computer. I just got kicked off the computer today because I was trying to finish up the LLC, and dude, I messed it all up. And so finally my wife was like, "Nope, you're gone. I'm doing it. You're done. Get out of the house."
Here you are
I
talking to
don't
the All Kings.
I don't do computers.
It's not for everybody, that's for sure. And I think
Yeah.
you've really mastered the personalized things when it comes to your project. A lot of people in this space, especially if you're based in the United States, they love to see the face behind the project. They like to make things a lot more personalized and to know who's building out what they're investing into. And you don't really see a lot of it within this Web3 industry. You see a lot of anonymous characters building out projects and
I have a
pulling the
big
rug.
issue with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
me
have a
too.
big issue with that. Now, not to say that I've been rugged by projects that were doxxed in
Yeah,
KYC. When a lot of people still hold that as a validity to the project, and it's really not anymore. It doesn't matter whether they're doxxed or if they're
but it can help.
KYC'd.
It can help.
It helps. It does
Yeah.
help. Absolutely. Because now you have somewhere to go.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody steals all your money, they are KYC'd. And so you can try to go after them. But the problem is they
That's
put
what I look
everything
at as
under a
well.
company. So if they put everything under a company, there goes their personal liability. How
True.
are you supposed to sue an entity, a C Corp or an S Corp, when the S Corp is dissolved? Because that's what they do. When they rug these projects, not only do they steal the liquidity, they dissolve everything. They dissolve the S Corp, the C Corp, they dissolve the Telegram, the Twitter, everything disappears. Now you have nobody to go after.
And proof,
You
no
know,
proof.
there's no proof. And if you try to take it on a personal level to the person that started it all, that was KYC'd, any lawyer is going to say, "Oh, that was all under the C Corp. Sorry, they went bankrupt." Well, now
It's a great point you
you're
bring
still
up.
yeah, you're still screwed either way.
You're thinking deeper about it for sure, a lot deeper than I was initially. But I do think it helps whenever whenever there is a face behind the project. It just
Yeah, it does, because you're not buying into the project per se, you're buying into the team and the personalities behind it. And that's a huge thing.
yeah,
I'm a pretty good judge of character. Within 30 seconds of talking to someone, I know whether I like them or not. And there's a lot of projects that I was starting to get into that once they actually dox and I talked to them on video like this, I never went into it. Within 30 seconds of talking to them, I was done. And so I watched a lot of people get rugged that way because
yeah.
they didn't really, I didn't give them advice, but when they came back and said, "Are you buying in?" And I said, "No." "Why not?" "Well, I have my reasons." "Ah, you're crazy." And then they buy in, and then they get rugged a month later, and then they're coming back going, "Oh shit, dude, we got rugged." And it's, yeah, it happens.
Exactly. Sure does happen.
Sorry,
Yeah. At least
should have
you're
listened to
able
me.
to grasp people based off of more or less first impressions that they provide to you, whether or not you're going to choose to invest into them or just support them at the end of the day. Because having a characteristic like that in your back pocket can really help establish the right friendships and relationships that you want rather than just openly
Yeah,
accepting all types of friendships and relationships.
it is, and it's a skill that, unfortunately, when everybody hides behind a keyboard, is starting to dissipate. And see, I
Yeah,
grew up with street smarts.
true.
And then on top of street smarts, when I not only did I have the street smarts growing up, When I went to the military, I got trained into recognizing certain things and being able to read people and being able to
Habits.
do all that stuff, habits and body language, micro expressions, all that kind of stuff. And so that helps me a lot, being able to identify of whether I like somebody or not. And I do it all the time with my kids. My kids will bring friends home. Within 30 seconds of speaking to whatever kid it is, I know whether I like them or not. If I don't like them, I tell them flat out, I don't like you. Get the fuck out of my house. Don't ever come back. What do you do? Don't worry about what he did. It's not what he did. It's all the little things that he wasn't doing
Yeah,
that I saw. And the kids they'll understand it later on.
most definitely. Takes time.
So it does. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of getting burned
Yeah.
before you actually finally pick up on it all.
How do you plan to
Um,
expand your reach and adoption within this Web3 space? I know that you're on Binance right now, but do you plan on ever
yeah,
expanding outwards onto other chains?
we've looked into that. And we've actually talked about it. So originally we were talking about going multi-chain.
Sure.
I've been watching a lot of projects that have been doing that, and it doesn't do exactly what everybody thought it was going to do. It's working for them to an extent,
Yeah.
but they're not progressing. And if we do go multi-chain, we're going to have to do it in a way that we're going to have to figure out a way that it works to project the project and not hinder it or keep it stagnant.
Makes
And
sense.
so we're really going to have to we're going to really have to watch how we do things as far as that's concerned. Would it open up the doors to new investors? Absolutely, it would.
Right.
But some of the newer chains, they're too new. Solana. The rugs on Solana right now are worse than freaking anything else. They're
I
worse
don't
than
touch
Ethereum.
Solana really ever at all, to be honest, because of that reason. If I were you, though, I'd like to give you one chain to check out, and that'd be Hedera Hashgraph. It's not necessarily a chain, but it's a Hashgraph
So
consensus.
yeah, we're looking at them.
You should.
Not so much as going onto the chain, but more of a collaboration.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the projects that are involved with Hedera, we are involved with.
Nice.
Podcasters is one of them.
Heard.
He comes out to the mine almost twice a week, and he works with me.
Nice.
And he's been relaying everything that we're doing to his people and saying it's a real deal.
Yeah.
And as a collaboration with podcasters, we're doing some stuff with him. So their project's all based around hemp, right? And the environmental consciousness of hemp and the materials that can be made from it, ropes, clothing, building materials, and all that
Pretty much
stuff.
anything almost can be made from hemp.
Yeah, it always has been. I mean,
Yeah.
mankind's been using hemp for eons.
Yeah. You're
It
right.
wasn't until the governments of the world got together in the early 1900s and said, you know what? Let's make this illegal because it's too cheap, it's too renewable. Let's stick with cotton,
Yeah.
and we can make a lot more money. And so that's what they did. Unfortunately, there was such a stigma with hemp. Now that it's broken loose and it's legal again in most countries, there's another application to it. Hemp actually pulls toxic minerals and contaminants out of the soil and water. And
Wow.
so what we're doing for podcasters is around our tailings pond and fresh water pond for our recirculating system is we'll be planting hemp around the ponds. And so we're going to have an environmental hygienist come out, test the tailings, test the water. Then we're going to plant the hemp. We're going to let it grow for the 4 or 5 months. And the environmental hygienist will come out once every 3 weeks or once every 2 weeks, continue taking samples of the tailings and the water. And then at the end of a 6 month period, we'll compare the results from day one to day two, or day zero, or day one to day whatever, and how much of the contaminants are pulled from the soil or from the tailings or from the water. Now they can take that scientific data that's done via third party to all the other mine sites in the country and world and say, we have a solution to your reclamation. You no longer have to spend billions of dollars trying to clean up mine sites. We'll just plant 20 acres of hemp around your
Just
areas,
plant
and
hemp. Wow.
then we'll come in, we'll harvest it, and we'll turn that into construction materials, hempcrete, and all that stuff.
That's
Now they can build
incredible.
houses with it. Yeah, so that's one of the collaborations that we're doing with some of the people that are involved with Hedera.
Nice.
So we actually have a big space coming up Friday with Event X, Podcasters, Hedera, and I think the Hive DAO.
Yeah, heard of those
So
guys as well. I'm actually a part of that DAO to an extent.
are
I
you?
like supporting them and helping them wherever it may be needed and whatnot as well.
Yeah, so we'll be doing some collaborations with them. We're not quite sure what we're gonna do or how we're gonna work it all out, but
Yeah,
I'm sure everything will come to light this Friday. Our project manager Kez will be taking the reins on that one because it's getting to a point now to where I'm no longer being able to have the time to do these kinds of things
yeah,
because I'm mining so much.
yeah.
And now that I got an actual crew that I'm going out with, instead of doing it all by myself, which I have been for months and months, it's going to start really snowballing here and things are picking up. So,
Let's talk a little about the long term, forward thinking. This is a perfect way to
sure.
close things out. What are some of the long term goals you have for the True Gold token? And what can we expect to see from the project in the coming years to come? Obviously, I'm assuming
So,
scaling more is probably one of the biggest ones.
yeah. So, long term goals is actually just the sustainability of the tokens, right? The
Nice.
sustainability of the gold being brought to DeFi, doing the consistent airdrops month after month for the next God, however many years it goes, whether it's 30 years, 60 years, whether I die, my kid takes over. I got 7 kids to choose from.
True.
One of them is actually going to be going to school for geology and mining. Most likely, she will be the one that takes the reins. And of course, she'll have to take the reins of the crypto side too. So not only is
True.
she going to have to take over the mining, she's going to have to take over the crypto side as well to ensure that the holders are being paid out every single month.
Yeah.
The long term goal is I want to try to have at least all 6 mines opened up within a set amount of time. I have a kind of a 10-year plan for that. It could happen sooner. It could happen in the 10 years. Right now, priority one is this mine and the mine next door. It's getting both these up and running within the year. So that way we got 2 mines up and running, two incomes coming in from 2 separate sites, which is going to keep the longevity of everything going forward. Um, right now, the NFTs are stakeable on our DApp for $3.25 per month per NFT. So if you mint an NFT for zero point 0.3 BNB, you can mint it on, or you can stake it on our DApp and receive $3.25. In the next couple of months, that's going to be raising up. The initial goal when we first started everything, the NFTs were supposed to have paid $6.25 per month. Due to some circumstances that happened last year, we had to cut that down to the 325.
Sure.
And then we did do one airdrop for the token holders last February, but then we had to put that on hold until things got a little bit better. Right now, as we're doing the vamp up, and so everything's going to be released soon as far as what the airdrops are going to be, how much you're going to get per token. So the way I had it set up before was it was all based off quarter ounce per ton, half ounce per ton, 3/4 ounce per ton, and a lot of the members or future holders found that was confusing, and
Yeah.
so I redid that, and
Yeah.
so now it's based off basically a token price. So if you own one token, that one token you'll get 0.000 whatever the number is per token. And
Sure.
so you can just do your math that way, or I have a chart that breaks it down: million tokens, 750, 500, 250, 100, 75, 50, 10, 0, or one token. And so that'll be released. That information will probably be released in April. The big news will be released next month. We're not quite sure how we're going to break that news yet. We're still trying to figure that out, whether it's just going to be a major announcement and just posted, or if I just go live and see how many people actually notice.
That's a good point. I
Yeah,
just
I'm
had
not
an
sure.
idea in my head. You just
Yeah, I'm
go
not
into
sure
one of
how
the
we're going to do
mines.
that yet.
You go into
What's
one of
that?
the mines, you take your
Uh huh.
pickaxe, you start hacking into one of the walls, and as you're starting to cave out one of the walls, you a message appears, and then that's how you announce it through the message after you're
We're
mining. It's like I guess it'd be like an
yeah.
effect deal.
Oh yeah, and it's totally doable. We got some
Yeah.
great graphic artists that can do stuff like that. As far as like a GIF type deal
Yeah.
or a meme, we do have some pretty cool art graphic guys that can do something like that. But I'm on the fence on that.
Sure.
I'm more leaning towards the side of where I just go live, multi-stream, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Telegram all at once, have everything being shown, and then see how many people actually notice what's going on and see if they can put two and two together
Yeah.
without having to blatantly say it. I'm not sure yet.
You've got
The
time.
the the elite VIPs, we had a VIP group from the private cell, and that's dwindled away. It's just not very active. A
Yeah.
lot of the holders that were in the VIP, we retained about 50% of them. Most of them just bought their bags and forgot about it, and they're just sitting on the sidelines waiting. So there's really no action in that VIP group.
Makes
Hardly
sense.
anybody ever writes in it. And so we made an announcement based off who was active in the chat, who comments on all this stuff, who's actively watching the videos or commenting on the TikTok, all the active members, which there was honestly only about 20 of them, got invited into the elite VIP group, right? Honestly, that's the only requirement to be in that
Just
group.
be
All you
active and
have to
engaged.
do is be active and engaged and hold either tokens, NFTs, and or both.
Is that?
It, and they'll have all the pertinent information. They know what's coming. They've already
Yeah.
seen it all. Now it's
I look
just,
forward to seeing it.
yeah, you'll be shocked
Yeah, I
when you
bet.
see it.
And hey, maybe we'll have
Real,
to have you back on the show once the time comes if you have time.
yeah, no, so I'm changing my roles at the mine site a little bit. Last year we had an accident in the mine. I had a hang wall that came down, rock hit me in the head, and
Oh,
broke my ladder, and I fell 50 feet, and then about 20 tons of rock came down on me. And like Kez was there, we pulled myself out. Between him and I, we got myself out of the bottom of the shaft and up to the main haulage tunnel. And then I got to get airlifted to the hospital, and I was in a wheelchair for about a month because I broke my pelvis on both sides in multiple places. And so the biggest concern is obviously without me, there is no true gold, right?
yeah,
So that was a lot of the reasons why so many things got put on hold last year and why now it's all starting to vamp back up because now I'm healed. I still have my cane, but I've had my cane for years just from that stuff that happened in the military. But one of the biggest concerns is if something happens to me, there goes the project. It doesn't necessarily kill the project because obviously it happened last year. We didn't go nowhere.
yeah.
It just pushed me even harder to
Come back, bounce back.
to keep it going. And so I'm changing my role. My primary focus will be basically management of the crew and running the mill site. And so the only times I'll be going underground is for double checking safety precautions, making sure everything's being mined what needs to be mined. I'll be probably go in there like when on a day that nobody's there, I'll go in there and start doing my core drilling and sampling to send out for my assays and all that to make sure we're staying within the parameters of where we need to stay as far as gold extraction is concerned. But as far as the active mining is concerned, it's best that I don't work inside the mine just for precautionary reasons.
Yeah,
Um, and so that took a lot. That took a lot for me to agree to because this is what I do.
yeah. It's
Um,
your eighth child.
yeah, and so I had to step back and have that personal fight with myself to agree to that. And
Most
so
definitely.
it's agreed upon. So that'll be more my role is more the managerial type status, almost like a superintendent per se. I'll probably spend more time in a skid loader than I will anything.
Makes sense.
So that'll be good.
It's hands on, but more hands on at the same time. I guess one
Mm-hmm.
could put it. Jeff, it's been a real pleasure
Yeah.
speaking with you today about everything True Gold
Yeah.
Token and beyond. You have any closing thoughts by chance, though?
Like everything, do your own research. And
Of
in all
course.
honesty, you can come to our Telegram channel. You can, if you come to our Telegram, True Gold Token at Telegram, uh, / socials, that'll pull up everything we have: Discord, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. Give us a Google. We do have a website. It's TrueGoldTokens with an S.com. Unfortunately, TrueGoldToken.com was taken, and it has nothing to do with crypto.
Fun.
It's just coincidental. But everything's on the website. It does need to be updated. The white paper we need to do a V2 on the white paper because it still says BUSD, because that was our original stablecoin we were using, and then
Sure.
when that got delisted, we moved it over to USDT, and so that's what everything gets paid out in now. And so do your own research, ask around. We've been around the space for over a year and a half. I've been doing a lot of Twitter spaces lately. The
Fun.
name's getting out there, which is something I was lacking on before because I was mining so much. I wasn't really doing the spaces and all that stuff. But now we're back in action. Things are moving along, and it's gonna be awesome.
Most definitely. I
So
look forward to seeing everything that's to come, and it's been a pleasure to be able to speak about everything that's already happened and to hear about your story, to hear about how things have progressed from the start of the mining location and everything that you've built upon it to now having Web3, NFTs, and DeFi integrated to True Gold Token as well. Everything really just feels like it all incubates and meshes really well. And I just only can't wait to see how well these mining facilities continue to pay out with the gold that is extracted.
yeah, it's gonna be a good year. We just got our assays back on one set of assays. We just got those back, and so I was happy with what I saw. We don't necessarily divulge that information to the public.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, human beings can be very greedy.
Yeah.
And so if I release certain information, they're going to ask why the airdrops or why the NFT payouts aren't going up significantly higher than what we're doing. And it has to do with sustainability.
I was literally about to say that. It makes the most
You know,
sense to make sure that things are as resourceful and as sustainable as possible so that this rodeo
yeah,
can last a lifetime rather than a couple years.
yeah, we want consistency.
Yeah.
We want consistent payouts every single month without a hitch, just like we've done with the NFTs for the last year.
Yeah.
We have never had a problem with anybody cashing in their NFT money. We got several guys, several holders, I say guys, but several holders that pay their mortgages every month with it. We got several holders that buy their groceries every month. We got a couple of holders that when they totally forgot they had them staked. And when they went in because their car broke down and they were trying to find money to fix their car, they opened it up and they went, "Oh yeah, that's right. I have 30 NFTs staked from 7 months ago."
Yeah.
It fixed their car. It got
Incredible.
them out of a pinch.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. Now, would I like to see a lot of that coming back into the project? Well, project owner wouldn't. Of
Yeah.
course. I'd love to see people get their airdrops or their NFT money every month and compound it and bring it back into the project.
Yeah.
But that's not what the project was about. It was about truly distribution of wealth. I do well. Why not share it with people?
Said it better.
Yeah, I
True
made
gold.
money.
Oh, yeah, you do. You're doing fairly well for yourself considering you have 7 children, a plot of land, many acres of land that you mine the gold off of, as well as host your own livelihood and sustain your own food and everything with a small farm and everything that you see on his X page or your X page. It really
Yeah.
just feels like it's like a place where you can go to pretty much learn everything about yourself. Like you pretty much show a lot of what you do on a day-to-day basis there on Twitter. And I'm not sure about the other social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, but
Those
I'm
are way
assuming.
more in depth. Way
Gotcha.
more in depth. Because the
Sure.
videos on Twitter, if I do anything longer than a minute, it takes forever to download. And they
You're
only
right.
let you do a minute. Yeah, they only let you do a minute video on there. So a lot of the snippets on Twitter are usually just trimmed from a much longer video from either TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and they're just highlights. So if you go to the social medias and you really want to get a good look of what it is I do on a daily basis, those are your places to go. Twitter's cool. You're
Yeah,
only getting little highlights though. You're not just,
gotcha.
yeah, there's
I'm getting
no,
breadcrumbs over here on X.
yeah. Greg from Podcasters, he's with me twice a week. And so he'll post stuff. But again, you're only seeing highlights. I typically, when I'm laying down at night, is when I start putting videos together and editing stuff and getting it to meld together. Some of them have music, some of them don't. There's times where I'm explaining stuff like the geology of things and how the mineral deposits are being introduced into that rock from the bowels of the earth, how I identify what rocks carry gold, what rocks don't. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a lot to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. There is.
and so I try to do a lot of that in the videos, and then every Sunday morning while everybody's sleeping, I'll do a Twitter space of gold and cryptocurrency episodes. This Sunday will be episode 5, where I'll put up a poll and I'll ask 3 questions. Do you want to talk about the project? Do you want to talk about gold mining, or do you want to talk about something stupid? And most of the time it's gold mining. And so I got lots of topics to talk about, not just what I do, hard rock, but also placer mining. And I forgot I got to pick my kid up. He was just calling me.
Oh, all good. I
Okay.
can close this out now if you'd like. All of the links for True Gold Token will be linked down below. Jeff, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. And I thank you once again for taking the time to join
Yeah,
me
thanks for
today on the
having
Alt
me.
Kings podcast. And I look forward to, yeah, I look forward to speaking with you in the future as well to get some updates and some more insight on what's to come and everything that's happened from this
Heck
show
yeah.
on and moving forward. And last but not least, I'd like to just simply put, if I ever make it out to California, I'd love to join
Anytime.
you on an
Come on
excursion
out.
to mine some gold for myself or
One of the
for the
things I
community
forgot to
as
mention
well.
before you close this out is once a year we actually go through and we find 5 diamond holders, diamond hand holders, and they will have a full week out at the mine site. They'll be put up in the Airbnb that's attached to the mill site for 1 week. They will mine all their own gold. They will run the equipment. And at the end of that week run, they split 5 ways whatever comes off those tables. And so it's just another way to reward the holders
Nice.
for not only believing in me and what I do for a living, but the team as well. And so we like to reward people, and then that'll rotate throughout the years, and hopefully we can get every
Definitely.
holder at some point in time out there. So
Definitely. Well, Jeff, thank you once
yeah,
again.
yeah,
And I know you got to head out. So this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you
awesome.
all next episode. Peace.
Ready to transform your learning experience? Step into the future with the Learn to Earn platform on Hedera. Choose how you learn: academic books in hard copy or NFT form. That's right, NFTs. Whether you prefer the traditional feel or a digital interactive journey, the choice is yours. Dive into the NFT, not just for the book, but for all the tools you need for success. Download the book, access tests, all within a seamless, immersive interface. Forget traditional logins. Simply scan the QR code, connect to our platform, and start your Learn to Earn journey. Pass your tests and watch your success turn into real rewards with Gcoin, our exclusive digital currency. Imagine learning at your own pace, acing exams, and reaping tangible benefits. It's not just education, it's a transformative journey towards success. Join the future of learning at gilmore-estates.net. Scan, learn, earn. It's that simple, and it's revolutionary.